Two very important options or settings when dealing with view keys are the auto view keys and disable view playbacks. So to select these options, I can just navigate over to my orientation and camera views here. Just do a right click and it gives me a few options to select here. Two of the most important, I have the disable playback of view keys and disable view key creation. So let's take a look first at this disable view key creation. By default, this is turned on or disabled. And I'd say my preference is to keep this turned on or disabled. But again, it comes down to your own personal preference. But what this does essentially is it disables automatic view key creation if I ever rotate or change the view of my model. So what I mean by that is, for example, with this disabled, if I'm going into my animation here, if I make any change to the view, so just do a rotate or anything like that even, I don't see a view change automatically coming in. And generally I don't want that because when I'm running through my animations, I'm moving things around a lot, changing views, rotating, and I don't want that to come into my actual animation every single time. But if I would like that, I do have that ability, and essentially it's pretty much the exact same idea as your auto keys that we use for motion. We have the auto view keys that we use for our views. So in this case, if I go into my orientation and camera views and turn off this disable view key creation, so now any change of view orientation I make will automatically generate a key within my animation. So even if I just did a slight revolve here or rotate here, we can see that that key has automatically been placed at whatever time point I was at. So now again, if I calculate through or play through this, it's going to go to that kind of arbitrary angle that I just rotated to. So it can be a time saver if you find that useful. Again, it just comes down to your own personal preference. The one other option that we have that can be useful there, again, just do a right click here. And I also have disable playback view keys. So that, as the name suggests, works fairly simply. Essentially just turns off all view changes. So let's take a look. If I disable the playback of the view keys there, and then run through my animation, notice the entire view keys here have just been grayed out. So essentially it turns those off or suppresses those, such that your animation now no longer shows any view or orientation change. It's only worried about the actual physical or location changes. So again, if I play through, I'll see that it's only showing the location changes and no longer the view changes. And that can be useful just, for example, if you're creating a very large, more complicated animation. Maybe sometimes you just find it easier to edit if you're not worried about your orientation jumping around all the time.